All right, joining me now on Inside TBT, the godfather of Stars of Storrs, the UConn alumni team, Marc D'Amelio. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Andrew. So excited, man. This is awesome.
It's a long time coming. A year ago, you tweeted at us in tournament, gotta get a UConn team in TBT. And here we are, 9 months later, and we're there. We did it. Just
Yeah.
why was this the year for you to get involved, and why now? This is year 11 of TBT. Let's start with that.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, someone on Twitter actually back a year and a half ago was told me about TBT, and he actually hit me up recently. It was like, "Hey, don't forget I was the guy that told you about TBT." I always thought about it. I mean, even back 20 years ago, I was like, "Wow, imagine if players from different eras, even 1 or 2 years apart, could play together. How awesome that would be." And you guys have been doing it. You're the leaders. You're the only game in town that's been doing it, and we're excited to be part of it. I think over the last couple of years, my involvement with UConn basketball has gotten stronger, and I've really tried to do a good job bringing in just really connecting alumni, fans, and players that a lot of schools UConn hasn't done in the past, like doing events to bring in players and current students and fans all together is kind of what I've been doing with the collective and outside of the collective over the last couple of years, and it's been awesome.
Well, that's great. You mentioned the collective, Demelio Huskies collective. My first question that comes to mind with the collective, UConn two-time defending champs with basketball. Are people like, screw this guy, they don't need our money, they're winning championships? Or are they like, no, it's got to stay like this? Because I feel like a bad program is going to get some more donations versus two-time defending champs. What more help do they need?
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I can't take credit for it. There's another collective that is probably the leader in the revenue generation, but look, I think we can get discounts on players because you might get someone that's going to throw a pot of money at you, but if I'm in that, if I'm in a student's shoes, I might take less because you got a good chance, at least over the last 2 years, to win a national championship. But it's still, even as big as UConn is, you still have to give market value to the players coming in.
Absolutely. And you mentioned players, you mentioned the collective. You got three guys on the roster committed right now: Daniels, Boatwright, Calcaterra, Coach Chris Smith, who of course is the all-time leading scorer in UConn history. Are these the names that you thought of right away when you thought TBT was like Boatwright, your guy? Like, I gotta grab Boatwright. He's got to be on this team.
Yeah, I mean, UConn has been blessed to have so many floor generals over the last 20 years. There is, as I've gotten more acclimated to understanding TBT and understanding that, guys have to be ready to play. This isn't, some summer rec league. This is the real deal. You guys have talked about how many players that have worked with TBT go into the NBA, and so you got to be ready to rock and roll. So I knew we needed someone who's been playing to be a floor general, and that's Boatwright. We obviously have other guys like Kemba and Shabazz, but to lock in as our first real commit, Ryan, is amazing. Joey Calcaterra, who his dad and I have become very friendly. His family's amazing. He's fresh off playing the G League with the Lakers. And DeAndre Daniels is a stud. So I mean, just those three guys. And again, once we issue the press release and people start really finding out, UConn fans finding out what TBT is all about, the floodgates are going to open. So from a player standpoint.
Well, we at TBT have learned very quickly to never doubt Marc D'Amelio. If he says he's getting someone, he's getting them. If he says he's putting the team in, he's putting the team in. So who are some of those guys on the Marc D'Amelio wish list that if you get enough time in their ear, they'll be on this team?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a little bit of finessing to it because they can't. Obviously an NBA summer league there, so there's people that are excluded, right? We even got like Niels Giffey, who plays for the German team. If he's in the Olympics, he's not going to be able to play for us, right? Andre Drummond, from what I understand, was under contract with the Bulls. So if all of a sudden he's not under contract with the Bulls, that opens him up. Rudy Gay, I texted him. I said, "Hey, any shot?" And he gave me like the eyes back, like like he's thinking about it. So there are some constraints on who we could work with. Obviously, if someone just graduated from UConn and they're going to the NBA, that takes guys like Tristan and other guys off. But people that I would want to talk to, Kemba, obviously I have a relationship with Kemba. Napier would be an incredible ad for us. Andre Drummond would be, I mean, he's a monster. So and we're open. But I'm running point on the general manager thing, but ultimately it's Chris's and his staff's decision on who we take on. So I let the basketball, I'm the marketer and the brand guy. I let the basketball guys do the basketball stuff.
So obviously the UConn team this year, in the last 2 years, every tournament game, 17 plus points. Is that what we can expect for Stars of Storrs? They're just going to come in championship year one, every game's a blowout, or do you think there may be at least a little bit of a learning curve in year one compared to the tournament teams we've seen the last few years?
Yeah, I don't even think I'm trying to be humble. I think there's going to be a learning curve. I think it's a different game. And I've told the guys, like, look, if you just want to send it in and show up, we're going to do practice a week before. We had a whole thing set up in Connecticut. We're pulling out all the stops, but the competition is real. And we're not Danny Hurley and his staff. This is brand new. So look, I'm hopeful that we do really well. But we need to be humble going into it, knowing that yes, we're UConn players, but this is something that's been going on for 10 years, and there's a lot of teams that have been in this a lot longer than us. And but next year we'll win everything. So
well, there you go. A 2025 TBT championship for Stars of Storrs.
And we might squeak something out this year too. So
well, it's funny you mentioned 2025 because another Marc D'Amelio speaking into existence is I know you would love for UConn to host the tournament eventually. How cool would that be, for you, for the team? And is that something that you would like to see happen in the future of TBT?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few venues that we could do it. There is Mohegan Sun, which we talked to. They have a WNBA team, so that kind of puts them in a tough situation over the summer to get that many, to get a weekend available to do something like this. There's also an arena down in Fairfield County. Obviously, to host this at Gamble Pavilion in Storrs, Connecticut would be incredible. We're already having dialogue with them and with TBT to get that set up. So I see us playing in Connecticut next year.
Well, that would definitely be exciting. The best way to say to the TBT fans in the TBT world that TBT belongs in Storrs at UConn is to have a lot of fans this year in Pittsburgh. What are your expectations for fans? Round one is in the same session as the Pitt alumni team. So that's a great ticket. You get, access to the Pitt alumni team's game. You get access to the UConn alumni team's game, matchups, timing, all that stuff, TBD. But what do you expect game one for the legacy of the UConn alumni team to look like from an attendance standpoint? The record, by the way, for a single TBT game is 7,202 people.
Wow. I think we're going to travel really well. I think, for a guy like me who is, you get March Madness going into April, and then you have NBA playoffs. And, as a Knicks fan, I've had some tough years. So now I have UConn winning the championship, Knicks up 3-1 right now. I think once summer rolls around, basketball fans are sitting around going, man, I just miss it. I know we got the Olympics later, but we're going to travel really well. We're going to travel really well, and we've already chartered one bus to Pittsburgh. We got to charter a couple. We have a relationship. UConn has a strong relationship with a bus company called DATCO. Those guys are going to hopefully provide some buses. I'd love for us to fill the arena with at least 1,000 or so UConn fans.
That would certainly be special. We need, if you're on that bus, we need coverage, videos, tweeting out stuff. We need all that stuff on the parade to Pittsburgh for UConn TBT.
We'll get it done. I'm good at, my following on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, probably gets sick of all my UConn posts, because I'm sure my UConn following is probably 5% of my overall following, but I sacrifice the 95% of my followers for the 5% who care about UConn. So I'm going to be posting stuff all the time to get tickets sold for TBT in Pittsburgh.
I love it. That's what we want to hear. Before I get you out of here, kind of two quick things to finalize. First one is, obviously you got posters behind you, Demelio show. What else are you cooking up right now? What are you working on outside of TBT? There's got to be some other cool projects that you're able to share.
Yeah, we started a brands company, and we have a footwear brand, a women's footwear brand called Demelio Footwear, and we have a snack company called Be Happy Snacks, which is we're in the process of selling into 10,000 7-Eleven stores around the country. So that just working on different brand things for my family, and doing the social media thing, but just enjoying life, man. Enjoying life. And I don't have a ton of hobbies, so UConn and UConn basketball takes over a lot of my hobbies. So and I actually text Danny Hurley the video, and he was like, "This is awesome, Mark." So maybe we'll get to see him in Pittsburgh. So I'd love to get the Hurley family out to Pittsburgh. So
that would be great. You yourself and UConn Stars of Storrs quickly becoming a great advocate for basketball and, of course, TBT. Before I get you out of here, I got to do this for you. Any questions that you have for me or for TBT live on the show, I'll answer them. Now's the time to ask.
No, your team has been awesome. I've been working closely with Jake over a year. So we have meetings all the time. I think we ask all the questions up front. We've built a nice team. So it's been great. Like, things that I would have asked, I've already learned through it. So but if I think of anything, I'll definitely tweet out at TBT and ask you guys a question directly.
Sounds good. That's me running it. So I told you when we met a week or so ago that we've actually kind of been talking for a year via Twitter, X.
Absolutely, man.
But now it's real. So we're excited. Obviously, you're excited. Stars of Storrs this summer, but championships coming in 2025.
Let's go. Well, maybe this year. I don't want anybody putting a picture or video of me in anybody's locker room, but so I want to be humble, but UConn's going to come strong this year.
Well, there you go. Thanks for coming on the show.
All right, Andrew. Thank you. But